Good morning. Good morning. I had this dream, and I don't know how long this is gonna take because it was a long dream. But we was at this, I guess it was some type of obstacle course, and we was running. Um, one of my teammates that got left behind. It was these dogs, and these dogs was vicious. They was attacking and we had to make it past the dogs. They was on a leash, but the leash didn't. Well, the leash was a long, long leash. So one of my friends had got left behind. Well, I went and I tried to grab her, but I couldn't. We was on top of this tower thing, but eventually we knew we had to get down because it was gonna break. So we didn't get down in time and it broke, so we fell. And I didn't get hurt. I jumped right back up, but she was kind of knocked out. So um, I tried to wake her up, shake her, and I tried to drag her, but I couldn't because the dogs was coming. So I made it back to my team, and I told them we had to go back and get her because she was knocked out, and the dogs was, they could be biting her, like killing her right now. And she's not awake, so they didn't take my warning. They just brushed it off, and eventually she showed up, but she showed up with the dogs. Um, I looked at her and I was crying, like I was sobbing, and she just walked right past me, but the dogs was following her. And we didn't notice that the dogs was following her until a couple minutes later when we seen the dogs was, she was actually got leading them in. And I told the guy, I was like, well, she didn't say anything to me. It's like she felt as though, you know, I left her behind and I didn't come back for her, or I sent for her, but nobody budged, nobody moved. Um, so yeah, the dogs wound up coming and invading the whole place. We tried to hop on top of tunnels and stuff like that, and they got on top of the freaking tunnels. So eventually, I climbed far enough on top of the tunnel where the dog actually couldn't um, get on top of it unless it fell right back off. So she had disappeared, and the dogs was still attacking everybody. And eventually, well, then later on, it was this a whole bunch of people, and these people was um, invading the place just like the dogs. So we had to find another spot to go to, and I wound up finding another spot. So I jumped onto, like we was just jumping, just jumping, trying to get away from them and trying to find any place um that we could hide. Um, but we did. I wind up finding a spot, but then they we seen that they started knocking down everything. They started knocking down our one hideout, and now they started, they was knocking it down, and it was coming for where we was um right then. So, no, it was coming for where we was. So, they eventually made it to us where we was, and people had no choice but to jump down and try to fight them off. I was one of those people as well eventually. Um, I was lured in because they actually took somebody that I truly cared about, and they broke their hands off. Um, I didn't get to them in time, so then I was trying to fight them off, but then they grabbed me, and they were very huge. Like they was like giants in a way. Um, but they wound up getting me, and they wound up breaking my neck. I actually sat there, and they broke my neck. Um, so then no one escaped, but then I was given another chance, and I came back, and I found a spot. I found a way out, and unfortunately, I was the only one that made it out that time around. Everybody tried again and tried again to fight them off, and we couldn't fight them off. So I had found a spot. I was placed back on the tunnel, like the little area. I don't know what it's called, but it's a, some type of, I don't know. It's some place. I can't really explain it. It kind of looked like a playground, but it was like a certain section. Like it was this playground, and then it was another one. So we went over there, and I was at the top of the tunnel, and I wanted to looking through the leaves because we never actually looked behind us. But through the trees, there was this fence that you can jump over, climb down, and once you climb down, there's like these little, um, it's like a little brick wall, but it's like knee high. So you can just walk right over it, and then you can escape. So I wound up escaping, but I was heartbroken because a lot of people I cared about didn't make it out, and it was just me. Um, so eventually, I appeared into this. It was like a kingdom. Um, it was some type of kingdom, and I guess I was apprentice, but somebody took it over, and I became a servant. Not just a peasant, but a servant. A maid. I had to work for the people that used to work for me. Um, they were invading the place as well, and we had to keep hiding because if they seen you, they would kill you. Um, it was some girls that found each other, but they were like blood. They were in blood, and they were barely alive. Um, It was horrible. There was this man raping his child right beside me. We were hiding. I had went in to warn these other girls that was still alive. I was barely alive myself, but they were still, they were in perfect condition. So I tried to hide them in like this closet hideout, but um, it wasn't long before the man came, and it was like one more girl that I couldn't hide in time, and she wound up getting raped by the man. Um, After a little while, after he got done doing what he was doing and stuff, and he wound up finding us, because I guess we started kicking him, and then he found where we was, um, and I wound up running out near the steps, and he came towards me, and I kicked him down the steps and broke his neck. Um, so it was a place full of a whole bunch of girls, some barely alive, and it was like a foster home in a way as well, like a kingdom, like I said, but as well as, these people, there was like people that would come and um, pick out, some kids or that was in good condition and take them home. The ones that were still alive. It was huge though. It was big. Like it was a big. It was like I said, we was in like a castle. Um, so I kind of knew how. Like it's like I was there before. So what I thought was gonna happen was that two girls was gonna pass in their sleep when um they came in to attack the place and take them. But the fact that they were going to die in their sleep, it just made it easier because they wouldn't be able to kill them and they'd be already dead. But that didn't happen. Um, so that's when I knew this was different, a different situation. I didn't know what was going to happen. So there was this lady and she kept chasing me around. She wouldn't give me a break. I was getting tortured the whole time. Then one of the kings asked, "Where's the one girl?" Asking for me specifically. And I was brought down and I sat there and he came to me and he chewed off my toe. He chewed off my toe. So after he got done chewing off my toe, I still had to get up and run because he was coming back the next day and the next day asking for me just to torture me some more. So I knew I had to get out of there. I wound up running. I didn't care who I passed by. I just ran and I ran and I ran until eventually it's like I came to a point where I was in a game. It became surreal because actually came out of the castle, and it was like this big yard, and it looked so nice. Like it looked like I walked into a dream that I had before. It was so perfect. So I walked out. I'm like, finally, I'm outside. I can leave. So I'm planning my way out, and I um it's like a whole bunch of it's like a big mess, it's like a whole bunch of bags and whatnot blocking the way, blocking the exit of blocking yeah, I guess just blocking the exit from that yard, like going fully just running free from where I was. So I was out, but I wasn't completely out. And I looked to my right, and it was this other kid, and this kid was jumping into all of the bags and stuff that was laying there. And I'm wondering what they doing, so I wound up doing the same thing. And I got into one of the bags as well, because in order to get out, you have to go through all of these bags and luggages and stuff. So I wound up going inside, and turns out me and him was the only one inside of there. But he got caught. They seen him jumping in, and they sent the soldiers to grab him, sort of like breaking out of prison in a way. So they wind up going through the bags, and anyone that they found in there, they killed them. So I seen a couple people that I knew, and somehow I got out of the bags and I made it around the soldiers, and they were following me. But then they stopped when I got close to the entrance where another soldier was. And it's like he kind of was helping me. Like he made sure they wouldn't attack me. And he let me in back into the castle. And I helped two other kids back in the castle. I knew them, so they looked real familiar. So I wanted to make sure they got in here before they were killed. And I remember when I first walked out of there, I was like, I'm sleepy. I was like, I'm so tired. I just want to find somewhere to lay down and go to sleep, where I ain't got to worry about being attacked. I ain't got to worry about the pain anymore. I just want to get out of here. But then now I was back in the castle because I had no other choice. And yeah, so I didn't make it out. So I just wanted to say that's how life is. Um, yeah, you're brought back to life. You're given chances, but as many chances that you want and you ask for, you will receive them, but you won't receive them as you expect to receive them. You know, It won't be all peaches and cream. You ask for a chance and you find yourself suffering all over again. Suffering all over again. You know, I didn't ask for the chance to come back once I was gone, but I expected, I had intended that I would come back once I'm gone. And so I did, and I came back struggling, suffering, because as many times as I died, I just came back, you know, only to look for the rest that I could have had if I would have accepted it. So maybe I didn't accept it, but I feel like I did. But I didn't because, like I said, I intended to come back and figure it out. And I came back and I figured it out. And now I was going through suffering, you know? It made me want to cry. Oh my gosh, that dream was horrible. I want to cry because the fact that he chewed off my toe, that was the most painful. And actually, I felt that. I didn't feel everything else, but I actually felt him chewing off my toenail. He chewed off my toenail, and I felt that pain. And that's when I was like, oh, heck no, I got to get out of here because I'm not going through that again. Just to feel that pain of him chewing off my toenail again. Oh no, I got to get out of here. But I didn't make it out, so I was going to have to go through that again. Well, not really go through that again because now I was at a point where, I was farther deeper into the castle to where it take an arm and a leg for them to find me. Um, but I was still there. I was still in the same place, and I just knew how to hide this time. I knew how to, get away this time, and it wasn't easy getting away from them, but this time around, it's just like I just had to do what I gotta do, so that I don't go through that again. And mostly just everything was fine, really. It wasn't really fine, but it's just like everything just changed after I felt that pain of him chewing off my toenail. I was like, oh no, I won't allow that to happen again. They won't send me down there again. Never, no. you know, it's not gonna happen. And yeah, so I wouldn't say it was a dream, more so of a nightmare. But um yeah, it was crazy. I think those dogs was hellhounds, or something. I don't know. That was crazy. But yeah, that was my dream. I just want to come on here and talk about that before I get my day started. Actually, I have a doctor's appointment, so that's where I will be going in a couple of hours. Y'all enjoy y'all day. It's Thursday. It feel like a Thursday, man. And yeah, Till next time, like, comment, subscribe, be notified, share it to all free world to show you care. Bye.